Good afternoon, traders. Hope we had a great weekend. Last couple of days been quite nice down here in Melbourne. Has been quite sunny, and today is not much different. It's a beautiful day today, so hope that continues on into Christmas. There's only a few more days to go until the big day. So what we're going to do, I think, just a bit of a heads up before we get too much further into it. We're going to have obviously we'll do the stream today, and we've got one. We'll go tomorrow. And maybe tomorrow we're going to really center around. So if you've got any charts that you want to look at, if there's any stocks you've got on the radar, we'll discuss them tomorrow. So we'll spend more time tomorrow on just discussing different charts and rather than just the different topics, just look at some charts and any view of what could be happening. So then I think Wednesday, so no stream. We're going to just go off for the next following days because it'll be pretty quiet going into Christmas, I'd say. And then I think there's an early close on Friday. So anyone that's sort of hanging around, I think the market closed around 2 o'clock in the ASX and 2:30 on the futures prior to Christmas. So just beware if you're doing anything around that time. But you'll probably find it's going to be a lot quieter this week. But we'll see how we go. It has actually opened up a bit stronger today, so that's bit more surprising than what I thought. It was fairly flat on Friday night on the SPY futures anyway, and then we've pretty much opened and picked up about 30 points, and then we're just sort of hanging around there at the moment. Let's so let's just go through the usual. We've got the TradeSetup site there, live stream site. So we'll be doing so we continue on into probably after Christmas. We'll get back into it for a few more live streams, and then we've got the new year. But we'll be continuing on this 12:30 time slot. So just feel free to tell people that you might know that might be interested. Spread the word, that'd be great. You can join us on Twitter, like we say, at trade_setup. Go to Facebook and befriend us, and you can actually subscribe to YouTube channel as well. And then you'll get a pop-up each time we actually go live or we start streaming. General advice warnings there as per usual. Just read through that. Yeah, let's get into it. So how is everyone today? Good. Hope you're doing well, Nathan. Looking forward to Chrissy. I'm one of those guys who are a bit late to shop, so I try to avoid it at all costs. But then sometimes I get myself flustered and I'm doing a last minute shopping. So I think I've still got that to look forward to in the next few days. Hopefully the wife will get out and do it for me if I talk nicely, if I can convince her. Um, but yeah, we're looking forward to Christmas actually. Looking forward just to relaxing for a bit. When it's a bit quieter, we can get a few things done. So we've got a few things on the cards with TradeSetup and actually the rest of it. So it's all looking great. We just got to do a bit of work. If Davin, you can hear me, start working, buddy. No holidays for you. Me too, actually. All right, let's get into the market. Let's just break it down. So we're up 34 at the moment, so that's quite strong. Let's just take a quick look just before we get too much further into it. Let's just look at the actual open. You can see that it's just so we pushed through this level. I think that was overnight. It was into late afternoon on Friday's Friday session, and pretty much it looks like we popped back up into the close, or that was just after. It was the future, so a bit of a wash out of that support level. That was at 55.20 thereabouts. This previous low, washed that out, and then popped straight back up. So we spent the rest of the night doing nothing. Rest of the session through the US session, through European US did pretty much nothing and just closed about what do we close somewhere around the 55.35 mark or thereabouts. And then today just popped straight up through those resistance levels. So don't worry about that line there. At the moment, it's looking quite good. We'll have to go to the daily in a minute, but it's looking quite good. So it's just picked up. We're holding a high low just in here, which should be interesting to see. And if we've gone up quite strong, and so we're going to find some resistance up here. Oh no, let's just draw that up a bit differently. Around that zone there, that's around that 55.84, looking a bit stretched at the moment. You can just had a phone call through, got to reject it. Been stalked by another. It's actually a broker in Perth. So interesting to see what they want to say. Anyway, let's keep going. So this market's looking a bit stretched just at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if we just hang around and just sort of sell off and maybe retest this support level around the 55.50 mark. We'll see how that plays out. Let's go back to, we'll click it over to daily just to see what's happening. Anyone got big plans for Christmas? Anyone going away? Take a bit of a holiday? So there you go. That's a bit better. Now you can see there's going to be a. Oh, let's just get rid of some of this. Sorry. Just hold the line and stretches them out a bit. Now we're going to have some resistance. We're still sort of hanging up at that zone. Through here, was it 56? Touched up there. It looks like we're picking back up. I mean, that could easily just kick on straight through 56 prior to Christmas. Oh, awesome, Paul. Camping or just generally kicking back and relaxing and taking the esky? bit of hiking, I guess. Yeah, so we're seeing. Let's just draw my line in for me. Things. As you can see, it's holding higher lows in this move up here, which is nice. Good work, good work. So we're holding the higher lows. We've got some here, Whoops. And then potentially we could be building a high low just up here, but we just remember we're getting a bit stretched up there. It's a major resistance zone. So it will be interesting to see whether we can just punch through these highs, these previous highs on a daily basis. Well, they up around 55.92, so it's only shy of that 5600 zone. See if we can punch through there and we just kick on. So if I see that, I would more expect it because of this nice strong leg up, and it really hasn't abated. We probably wouldn't mind seeing a bit of a pullback to believe that that's going to go through and hold above 56 and just keep going. Yeah, no, I agree with Paul. It's always good just to have time away from the screen. Sometimes you can sit there and then you start seeing things that are not there. It's good just to refresh, recuperate, everything like that. Jump apart, and then even if I always like to relax, I'll sit there and just look at stuff, just go through and maybe look over some of my, just rehash on different areas. I'm trying to zone in on, I guess, hone in on, zone in, and just rehash some of the theory behind my trading and technicals, and it's just sort of recoup, and I guess you just how do you say? What am I actually trying to say? It just refocuses you. And sometimes you stare at it too much, you start seeing things, like I said, that are not there. You start looking for trades, and I know I do anyway. I start getting sidetracked and looking for things that are not quite there, and then you just got to go back to the basics, I guess. So it's always good just to take time away because you come back and you're fresh, ready to go again. Yeah, so this ASX, it's got legs. It could have legs, and especially when we've got a major, we've got a major support zone through here, holding that leg up. Could just find a bit of resistance. I wouldn't mind seeing, like I said, if we can get, let's just do this. If we can get a bit of even if it pops through and then works its way back into that zone, and you just have a bit of a correction, like we say, and then you start seeing buyers step in to the market, holding higher lows, and then we go. That would be, to me, that would be more sustainable for a good strong move higher. Does that make sense? So when you just start, you bounce off some major support and you really haven't corrected that leg, it just goes straight up. It's just a bit, generally I see it as a bit hard just to pop through resistance and hold and keep going. But, you never discount it, obviously, but it's just looking to me like the probability of that just keep continuing through is looking a bit tougher. So let's go over to the Aussie. The Aussie dollar has continued low. We spoke about this the other day, holding the leg down was 74.29. I think we had that move, or we had some of that move down anyway. Now we've got a get rid of that. We've really got, you can see that holding this current leg down, and we're really just exhausted through that 73.20 zone. Just push through a big washout. So it's interesting to see what to do. That key level now, just holding this leg down, holding the current, or the anchor, like we discussed before, holding it down is at 73.70, say. So if we get up and through that, then this leg is probably going to correct, and then who knows what's going to happen from there. Whether it's just a major washout, we correct, maybe retest it, and then a longer term move higher. But at the moment, it's looking very negative. It's a major support zone there, and this potentially is a major lower high on a daily basis anyway. Let's take a look at it on a daily basis. Anyone been continuing to watch that Aussie? Just clean this up a bit. So this is what we're looking at the other day. Yeah, so we're looking at this, potential move through there is just going to get this top price action. So if we just correct that, we might build that lower high of this move down, build that lower high like this, and then bang. So, or whether we just keep going down, we extend all the way down to 71.60. Be nice to see, like we said, that price action from before, like this, if you can see that there. Oh, no, you can't. That top price is just broken down like that. I'd want to see this, pop back up, build that lower high, and then you've probably got a good leg lower. That will take us, especially, it'll probably take us straight through that support zone at 71.60 down to major lows down to 68, 69 zone. So if that's the case, there's a bit of fat in that trade. It'll be a nice little one. You can really minimize your risk off the shoulder trade like we discussed. So anyway, either way you look at it, that's looking very negative. That's a major shoulder on that trend. Let's go to the US, the S&P, before we kick it off. So just be prepared, guys. We're going to, just today, before we get onto the US, to give you some time, we're just going to go over some trades that we've done for the year. I'll show you the spreadsheet that we keep, just to give you an idea of how we record the trades and your stats and things like that. I don't know if we've gone over stats before. I don't know if anyone keeps them, but it's always interesting. I'd keep them slightly different for when I was doing futures and doing the Forex markets and things like that. I'd take them in groups of 20 and take a spreadsheet for each group of 20 just to analyze your trades as you go. But for equities, we've just got the full list there. So I'll show you what we've done in the past and how it's going, and discuss that with you. So obviously the topic of the day is just the year in review, really. And tomorrow we'll spend more time and just pop up some, like I was saying, just put some codes of things you want to look at. We'll analyze them, see if they're looking good, or if they're continuing on, or what's happening there. Now this is the 4-hourly chart, sorry, the S&P, and you can see that's been quite strong. Major washout through, those lows. It sort of washed out prior to the election, and then pushed back up when it was talk of what was his name, Hillary Clinton winning. That fuss with the FBI, then that was okay, and it was looking like she's going to win, and then major sell-off when Trump won, and then bang, straight back again. And that's just continued on. We've got really a higher low holding this current leg up, and it looks like we may be contracting, or potentially we're contracting this. That's the current leg. We've had one leg up from, say, these lows, support low, up to these highs. It rolled over, only contracted mildly, and we built to this is the current anchor for this trend up. And it'd just be interesting to see if we can contract a bit lower, build that higher low again, maybe somewhere in here, 22.38, if it's going to be strong, and then punch up through these highs again at 22.77. So at the moment, just glancing at that market this is a 4-hourly basis, but it's going to be pretty much the same on a daily. We could just be contracting and making that lower high you can see just in here. So it may just push through 22.52, which is only 10 or so points, but it's really any down movement that's been constrained really on the downside during the sessions anyway, being really constrained, and it's looking a lot more positive. And if you get a positive day, it seems to take off, build new highs. So don't go against the trend, I guess, is the story of the day. Never fight the trend. Just try to go with it. Just try to pick your entries, I guess. So if we do get that rolling over, try to see if it does make that shoulder trade like we've spoken about. It does sort of just pop through here. We start getting that top of price action squeezing in. Well, get rid of that. We just start squeezing in here and building the higher lows, then looking for that top price action to pop up off a higher low. Some higher lows holding, and then once we get sort of through that that zone there, that didn't work well. It could be quite nice, if that makes sense. You could take us straight up through those highs. All right, is there anything just before we go into it? I'll get up the spreadsheet in a second and just see how it's going. Anything we want to quickly look at, say that's not pure stocks that we've got, whether it's a euro or a currency someone wants to quickly look at before we jump into it. Before we show you how we've done for the trade setup alerts, so far so good. So we'll look at the what we'll do is we'll bring up the spreadsheet, just show some of the different trades we've done, the different alerts we've had going throughout the year. Some of the ones that obviously stand out quite well. There'll be a few of them really kicked on well. There's a few of them that could have kicked on well, just got a bit got chipped out before it. So we'll go through a few of those on the spreadsheet, show you the stats, and then we'll look at the ASX, and you can see it's quite clear when you have a good run and you do well, what's happening with the underlying ASX. So at the moment, it seems to be, like we've spoken about before, it's been a bit stretched. It's looking stretched in that 5,600 zone. And the last few weeks, and it's been a tougher market the last few weeks, even month. And we know that in our trades, our stats are starting to show it. We're not going anywhere, but had a few more losses than wins. A few good wins, but generally those losses were capped in the past when the market's going strong. Really, and you get those really good wins. So the win rate was a lot higher. Alrighty. Alrighty, then we've got a couple that are going quite strong. That one's Simi Group, that's going well. We've got that at, ooh, I always forget that, don't I? Below 32, so we've got $1.50 on that, roughly. I think it's 31.70 just through this zone. It's pumps through the high, consolidates slightly, and it's pushed up a bit more. The weekly's the one that looks really nice on that. They could easily just accelerate into those highs. We'll see how that plays out. So far, so good anyway. We've got something on that one. Yeah, and we've got that at 22 and a half. I think it was 22 and a half. And we alerted that prior to that, there's a good news announcement opened up quite strong on this. And if you can see that bar there, that didn't do it. It was on this bar here. And then basically, just as one hint, don't try not, but when the market, you can see it's going to open up strong and you're going to open up above where you enter. Just a lot of the times, if it's going to gap up, especially, just try to keep away from those. I like to anyway. Sometimes it can be a mild gap. It's not much. But when it's a strong gap, you're just better off keeping it because there's probably going to be a profit taken intraday anyway, a bit of a sell-off, and it might give you a better entry. And we pretty much, I think, we held off, and then it come back to where our entry is looking around 22 and a half, just through that high. And we alerted it on this candle. It's opened up strong. It's actually come back and got us, and it's just continued higher. So if that continues with strength when we get through 27, we want to look up to those 30 mark on that one. But still looking good. Could have a lot in it. On what was that, Brain Chip Holdings. Galaxy kicking on strong, getting up to resistance. It's looking stretched. Everything's starting to turn, looking a bit, but I mean, no reason just to jump out here. It could kick on through 52 and a half, take out those highs, and then you'd be kicking yourself if you jump out too early. What else we got? Just trying to think. Oh, there's a few else in there, but they're the key ones. Still got CKF. So anyone been watching this? This is just powering along. If you're looking at from this point of view on a daily basis, it's held some high lows, but that leg up there is so strong. But just go back to a weekly just to get better perspective. That's, that kind of price structure was fantastic in getting that little entry. Even if you could have got it through 5, if you could have got it through 475, 480, just where that red candle is, somewhere in that zone, held your stop below there. You've done really, really well. But that's a very, we got first week tried to go. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 7 weeks in a row. It's just powered along. So we're half position left on that. We took some around 6, and we're still looking. I mean, there's no real. It's like we've discussed before. I think we've chatted about this quite a few times. When things are in all-time highs, everyone's a winner. It could just keep going because there's no resistance zones ahead of anyone. There's nothing really to base an exit on as such. So it's really just seeing sellers start piling in. You either just try to raise your risk. I mean, even on this one today, we could raise our risk just to. I mean, you could give it more room above 6, but I'd be happy just in there because of the way it's stretched right up there. Not even a weekly, it's stretched. Monthly, it still might have a bit more to go, but you can look at those candles on a monthly and a weekly. That's just near vertical. So more vertical, in my opinion, the deeper the correction is going to be. All right. Let's kick it off then. Let's take a look at how we've gone for the year. I'll just get, actually, I'll get up a, now, has anyone been following the alerts assessing us? I mean, you can get them through, I don't know how up to date they are just on the website, but this is the latest one as of today. I just updated the prices today. I don't know how accurate these latest prices are. I think that hasn't changed. AHZ's still hanging in there. That'll probably kick us out soon, but we've got their current open position just at the moment. I guess we shouldn't, doesn't really matter too much, I guess. Galaxy, you can see that's really powered along. We're up about 37% from the on entry, taking a partial on that, and the same with Collins Food, up about 22.5% from entry. So this is the way we like to take our stats. You've got all these, just the trades throughout the year. It's going back to about, I think it's November the 2015, about the 10th of November, thereabouts, or the 12th of November, which gave us a year. So it's only just gone just over a year now. I just like to, obviously you put in the alert dates now. I just like to take a stats of everything just to see how you're going, but it's not sort of the trades that are so important. It's more your win-loss ratio and how that's going. And just to see, you know, when you do win, are you taking some good wins out of it, or you're cutting it short? So you got to try and let those wins. The main thing I'm finding, I'm around that 60 mark to 65. We're up at 65% win-loss ratio for quite a while there, so it was looking really great. And you can just notice, been over the last month or so, we've just had a couple of little losses. So that, I mean, they're not big losses. Some of them have been not even 1%. There's been a couple of bigger ones, but in saying all that, that's that win-loss ratio has just dragged it down. That's more of a function of the market. You know, we've got in, it's gone in our favour, turned back. It may have just chipped us out at a small loss. But there is a couple of small gains, but it's just, you see, it's been a tougher market that last month, but generally we're up about 59% now. But I mean, there's still a couple of good wins in there that will bump above 60 again. But generally, what I'm finding with my trading, it's around the 60 to 65% strike rate. I'm happy with that. I think that's quite good. I think when you start gaining on your strike rate and you concentrate on that, you start losing on your, the size of your winners, I guess, to losers. It's harder to get, I'll find, even if you can get around 50% strike rate, but you find that you're getting 2 to 1 on average or better, then that's what you're aiming for. And then you just try to work your exits, try to work, stretch it, just get as much out of those trades. I mean, like Galaxy, for instance, that looks like it's running out of steam. But I just don't want to close the rest of it because, I mean, it's probably not a bad idea to close it, take it, but it could keep going. You don't want to do that, so you just want to give it as much room as possible to move. Not much room as possible, as much chance to move higher as possible. So that's the key. I mean, that's the way you're going to get better than 2 to 1. You're going to get those bigger wins. Occasionally, it might just, there's going to be times when, for instance, you'd be better off just getting out when you think. There's going to be times when, I mean, I can give you one good example. It's right down here. I always remember this one. I've spoken about it a few times. VRC is a stock we had. You can made 22%, so it's nothing to be shy at. But look at the exit was 5.5. After entry, we got in at, say we got in at 4.5. Exit was a 5.5. Good little gain. That went to 15. So that's one that I'll continue to kick myself about. So that was like a 300% gain. So what I'm talking about, just getting out rather than letting it ride in a way and letting it go and just see where it can go to. There's going to be those ones that are just going to power along, and they're going to really improve those stats. All right, so any questions on those guys? You can always get it from the website to have a better look. It won't be completely updated. We will update it soon anyway. Getting on the end of the month, probably around Christmas time, we'll just chuck the new one up there. So what was I saying? So I'm happy with that strike rate around there. You can see some of these losses have been a bit bigger, but they're quite contained. A lot of them are really small as well. But then by trying to push those winners, push them up, you can see those numbers down there. There's been a couple of really good ones. So what we'll do now is try to pick out. So if you want to have a look, just go to the website and you can drill it down from there. What we'll do is go through a few charts and just discuss stuff that did well. I mean, I'm obviously going to pick out the good ones first, and we'll say why. And you can just see when you do let it ride, you just hold it and you sort of you trail, you exit up, you don't cut it off prematurely, you just let it go to see what happens. There's one here I just saw, it's around 70 EX, was it? Here we go, EXC. I'll get that chart up and we'll just discuss it. So any questions, fire them away while we're looking. What's it? So I'll get the alert. So this is one of the alerts, one of the where we got in. So if I can go back, yeah. What I'm with that question, Paul. What I try to do, what I'm trying to, and we've probably discussed this before, it's aiming to get as much out of that leg as you can. So the way I like to view things, I guess, when you, or just say this trade, for instance, I think this is EXC, that was going to new highs. We don't know where it's going. We've just projected that the previous leg up, and then you had that expansion high like we've discussed prior, and you know that it's just not going to go forever. Then you had that contraction. Then we had that entry. It was around like 4.5. Was it the one? Yep, 4.3 or so. We've had that entry through here, and that's the setup. We can see it's made lows, it's made that minor high low, and then break through. You know, it's starting to come out, go into expansion again. I'm trying to take advantage, trying to get in early on the potential next leg higher, and then we're really just trying to project. That's the initial leg. Okay, project it up. It's got the potential to move to 8 where we could, if it's going to go well, you got your resistance zone. So I'm just trying to take advantage of those of a next leg up. I mean, I could hold that. I don't know where it's. Well, let's have a look. Let's just have a look to see what happened. That was back in June. We'll take a look. Daily. I think that was in here, wasn't it? Yeah. So that's the leg we took. Got out about 8. It did go a bit high, but then you can see it's just capitulated since then. So all we're trying to do is just take it. You know that if everything goes well, we've got that initial leg up, and then we're going to have another leg out. We're trying to project and then just trying to get as much out of that potential next leg higher as we can. Just suck as much out as we can. Yeah. So that one there with CKF, for instance, you just don't know where it's going to go, and all I'm trying to do is just let it go if it just keeps going. But I do know that when things they get a bit stretched, you need to have some sort of correction. It's just to bring in buyers essentially. If everyone's looking at CKF, if you're a new trader, can you sit to yourself and look at it and say, well, technically looking at that, would I get in? For all the fundamentals looking great, I really just want to see for a good entry. And at the moment, that's just gone so hard. I wouldn't personally be jumping to CKF. But in saying that, because I'm holding it, I don't know where it's going to go. There might be someone else that might jump into it and go, yeah, it's great. It's going to the moon. Jump in. Away we go. Um, so I want to give myself the opportunity to try to get out more of that. I mean, I'm happy if it does stop me out from, I can't remember where it is. I'm happy if I think we've got our stop down here around 620. So I'm happy if I get out of that second half at 620. I mean, we still got a really good gainer on that, but the potential, because there's no resistance levels coming, it could go to 7. And I just want to see if it has that spike up to 7, maybe we'll just take some off, or we'll just tighten our risk up. And I'm happy just to tighten my risk up on any opportunity, because I know that it's starting to get a bit stretched. It's looking a bit extended up there. Yeah, never cut it off just because you're guessing that it's going to turn on you. Because these are the ones, like I said, VRC. We were in here, 4.5 to 5.5. Now look at that. Still kicking. I'm kicking myself now looking at that. You look at that structure. That was just a really. This is what we talked about. If I was going to hold this properly, I should have had that breakout there. Don't ask me why I got out. I can't explain. I don't even know why. That's popped up. Gone into the previous high. It's popped through it, taken it out, and pulled back. Really should have had the exit below here. Had a pullback, knowing that that's probably going to put a pressure on the upside. It's going to bring in buyers. Buyers are stepping in, and then as soon as you got through this high, raise your stop. You've got to break even trade at worst probably, and then really just try to follow it up. and then you've had these sorts of moves, and maybe pull back here, it's popped out the top, raise your stops. You could have got up to 7.5, 8, and then you've just had that big blowout up the top. So that would have been a good example of following it properly. Good result, but it could have been much better because you just don't know where it's going. That's just holding it. Does that make sense there, Paul? Am I explaining myself what we're looking at? So yeah, what I like to do is just, I'm focusing on the next leg. So we're always looking for a potential leg higher. I mean, this could go much higher, but in essence, if we get that correction, I could trade it again. And I might just look at it again. If we have a good correction, I've got out of all my trade. I've taken half, taken the second, like in this instance, taken half here, taken the rest off here. I think we got stopped out at 7.5. I knew that was probably going to run into resistance. Lock it in, got out. All right, so be it, and look for another opportunity now. If we just go back, what was that one? EXC. To me, you can see after we've had that little run up there, probably nothing for me that I can see that I would have re-entered there. I would have been looking for a deeper correction, and you've got that pop up, and then it's just capitulated. So there's been no entry since. So if that's a really quality stocks, and that starts holding a base, and we start seeing buyers start stepping in, I can have another go at it. So I've taken a lot out of that leg up. You find the base, it goes again. Now there's obviously going to be those ones that just keep going and going and going. There doesn't seem to be a broker that offers guaranteed stop losses in stock share. Yeah. Well, I guess it's another, we can talk about guaranteed stop losses, another topic. I think they're good, but obviously when you got to remember, when you put a stop on a guaranteed stop, it's going to be a lot further away than what you may like, because it's a risk reward to both yourself, and to give a guaranteed stop, it's going to be a risk reward to the broker on the CFDs at least. Now, it's probably why they don't have it on stocks, because I mean, I don't know, actually, I wouldn't know what they could probably put it on there, but yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't have it on stocks, to be honest. But when you got to pay someone to guarantee a price in a market that could, nothing's guaranteed in this game. And you're asking them to guarantee it, they're going to make sure that it's not going to, the stats are going to be on their side in a way. So I think it's you're going to be a long way away from the market, the current market. But it's always good if you're going to hold it, if you're looking at longer term, and it's really just risk for those bigger moves in the overall market, not just the stock itself, but the overall market. Right now, I got sidetracked again, didn't I? I'm pretty easy, pretty easy to sidetrack. Let's go and just. So this one, EXT, that did quite well. So you can see we've got 4.2 or 3. If I can just get that back up. I don't want that. Grab the prices. EXC, we got in at 4.4, nearly 4.5 cents, and we got out at, say, 7.5 cents. About here was the final exit. I think the partial was just 6.5. Partial exit, EXC 6.5, yeah. So that did very nice for us, and like you said, it's rolled over since then. So that's one. Let's go. I'll grab another one if you like. Galaxy we've gone over, so we've only got a few open positions at the moment. Some others in the past. There was one that went really well. Lithium. It's a MBE. MBE is one we've traded a lot. That's you see the last one we traded. I think if I'm right, 15th of the 4th at 33. So I was in here expecting that push up. It's just no, actually, sorry, these are. Oh no, that's right. So we've had a couple of good trades on that. We had one gain for, if you can see that MBA, we had a little gain initially on end of last year, 21%. We had a loss of 5.8% roughly, and made that back. So that's been quite a good one for us. Yeah, BRN's going well. So I'm probably just reading your comment now. That's why I prefer to trade stocks that offer options, because that's my way. Yeah, no, I love options too, Paul. I haven't traded them for a long time, I won't lie to you, but you obviously need that account size there, but they can, if you just, like I said, if you've got an opinion of the market and you know what you want to do and you know where you want to get out, you've obviously planned all that. The way you attack it is up to you. You can trade it with stock, trade a pure stock. You can trade a CFD. You can trade an option, and you're getting essentially the same result. Well, and it's just what feels good for you, what's comfortable for you. You don't have to trade a CFD if you don't want. You don't have to trade a stock if you don't want. You can trade the options. I reckon it's a great way. I like the options because it's sort of like you can juggle what your risk to reward is and all those sorts of things. So you don't want to go in too hard. You can have something that's a bit, when we say further away from the money, if you want to buy a call, you think it's going, well, let's just go to BRN actually. If I wanted to buy a call for it, I think this is got a lot of legs. If it gets through this high, it's going to go through 30. It's going to keep going really strong. You can either be really aggressive and buy a call at 30 with a strike price of 30, and you're going to pay more than if you bought one at 40. You're going to pay less at 40, which means whatever you're paying is your risk. You're going to pay less, which is good. You're not going to get as much bang for your buck, but eventually, if that goes through 40, they're going to be working the same. The two options are going to be giving you the same result after a certain period. So it's just an initial, what are you willing to give up in results and get better in risk and get it back in the risk, I guess. So if you be consistent that way, you can juggle them. It's really good. If that's BRN, that's kicking along. Wouldn't mind it kicking along a bit harder, obviously. I think it's just this type of price action gets me a bit nervous as you get up to about that 80%. But there's no reason why it can't. I mean, this one's grinding down. I mean, pop. There's no reason why that can't just some news pop straight up through 30. And sometimes the higher these gets, we had one a while ago. Can't remember. It might have been CKF. Just try to find. No. Anyway, it was one that ground up to a resistance level around $6, and then some news come out, and it just took ages to get up to 6. We were up, and then some news come out, popped straight up, and it did really well. So yeah, you never know what's going to happen, obviously. So there's no reason to get out, but yeah, some of them do really well. Now I've got sidetracked again. Jeez, today I'm not doing so well, guys. Let's get rid of that. Let's take a look at some others, just a couple of others. Just trying to see if there's anything someone can see on the list that I want to take a quick look at and explain why we got in, what we were looking at. Feel free. Here's another good one. Let's look at RFX. RFX was a good example of, we've spoken about this before. It's a good example of the action legs, taking advantage of an action leg up and just try to project where it's going, because I think it went into clear skies when we traded it. Just trying to get the right trade. April. That might have been it. So anyway, we can go through this. The entry was through here, and you can see, I think by now we can get an idea of why we traded that and why it was looking good. You've had that leg up, and you've had that little minor contraction, had another strong leg up, and you can see these candles getting, the ranges are getting quite big. There's more volatility in those candles, and they really spiked up hard, and a bit of selling coming here. The next day pop. There's a daily chart. Yep, pop higher, and it got sold off. So it's starting to find some resistance up around that 50, and following day obviously corrected, and then you should have expected if that was really strong, you should have expected that to go through the highs and continue on. But instead, you can see we're starting to get away from the MAs, what I always tend to look at. A bit more volume coming in that sell-off there. Sellers step in the market. You can see that little volume spike contracting back. And then you can see that the size of these candles, the volatility's come out of the candle or out of the day. And you can see that's when it's getting a bit more even between the buying and the selling. And you can see it's that little sell-off there got bought up. It's got lower highs into there. And then you start getting these minor higher lows. And you get a few days higher. And then you get a big sell-off, maybe another good volume sell-off just in here on this candle. But that's holding essentially a higher low. So by the time we were looking at it, watching it, see these candles here, that's just good evidence where if that was weak, that should have gone through this low, and then you should have a decent correction or another sell-off. Once we started getting this type of price action after this higher low, so you're building that higher low, really what you're anticipating is a break of this high into this recent level at 50 and start attacking. So you're starting to come out the other side of this correction. Does that make sense? And that's pretty much why we got into it. Saw that price action, willing to risk really low. I mean, if you had your risk just below, say 35, and on a break of say 40, low risk potential is at least 2 to 1, probably up around maybe 2 to 1, 3 to 1, even up towards 50. So your risk reward is there. Everything's looking great. Price structure is looking great. All right, and because it was going to new highs, we don't know where it's going. This is just, that's the initial leg up. Project that up towards around that 60 mark. And I think that's what we got. If I just can go back, 39.5 to 65. Eventually we ended up with 65. So there must be some more charts after that. Unless it's that. Oh, there you go. Oh, there's a chart. I've had it named wrong, but anyway. So that's a nice little example. Inside trade here, you can see that overall price contracting. You've got the pushed down, made a lower low, made a lower high. It's come in and made that, held that base in there at a higher low there, and just looking for, okay, if that's a higher low, what does that mean? In theory, taking out this high, then attacking up to here, and we've got that. So we took a partial, I think, up here. Yeah, took a partial around here into the previous resistance. Probably a dumb thing in hindsight, really, that really pop up through there. And this is what I like to see. You see it consolidate over a few days just below this resistance. It's always a good sign that it can just bang straight through it. It's going to power through it, which it did. Retest and then went up. So we had our projected zone there. And I think after that, we were pretty much bang on the high around that mark at that time. Yeah, so that was a great little result. And I think we got out, if we just go back, 65. So we got around 65, and then you see that sell off from there. So sometimes it pays to, in that trade, I guess we got out just because it hit the resistance zone. Happy to get out. Took a good little profit, and we saw that sell off from there. Any questions on that one, guys? Is there anything we want to look at just before we start winding it up there? I've been asked to look at, just see what's happening here. If there's any other, we've got a few on there. If there's something, it's not that chart, is it? If there's something you want to look at quickly. As you can see, there's quite a few exceptions up at 64%. There's been a lot around 10, 11, 12%. So really kicked on. And if you go back to the ASX, this is what I was going to talk about. If we go back to the daily, we did quite well, not in this move up here. I think it was that sort of from mid-year. We had that good strong push up and that bounce. We had another push up. So we did quite well through here. And there was another good, that move up through there, we did quite well. We held on quite nicely through this and this pullback. Not too much, but I think it was mainly through that month or two up to those highs. That was August, wasn't it? From about July, August. Actually, it was only a month action through there. Yeah, anyway, you can see, and even at longer term, if you're looking at a weekly chart, that's going to look a bit better. This bounce off the lows, made a higher low, another higher low. So that type of price action, we sort of did well right through there. And you can see that in the stats. When things were going, they were going really well. Yeah. Yeah, I do. But what I'm finding, Paul, with the banks, it's more that I don't quite, on a daily basis, they're not as clean. You can see how they're gapping lower, say in here, if we just go back to WC. And it's probably more because this longer, we had an alert on WBC. We got caught on that one. And I guess looking back, it was just because we're getting caught in this chop. It really hadn't taken out a key level. I think now we're coming to that time where we're taking out a few key lower highs. Say in here at 32, down in this one as well, we built a higher low. So technically that's looking great. It's just the price action is not as clean as some of the others. So it makes it, for what I look at and what I view, it's a bit harder to jump in. Or you're going to have a wider stop. And I just think bang for buck, we're seeing, for me anyway, better bang for my buck on some of these small to mid tier stocks. They've been really great. And you can see that that's reflected in the results anyway. DMP for a short sell. Oh, let's look at it. The thing that gets me, I still want to see some more work. Look, we'll go. Let's draw that up. Actually, we'll draw it up. I like drawing. This is a weekly chart. So that's enough, I guess. Actually, we'll get the daily. There's no need. Yep, let's get that one there. All right. Dominoes. I've actually looked at this a long time ago for a long. It was around here. I just didn't get in, or somewhere around here for a long. It's powered along, old Dominoes, isn't it? Now, let's just draw it from left to right, just to get an idea of what's happening, or at least my idea anyway, what I see happening. Now you can see, you're holding lows up here. You've got a higher low through here, and it's broken up, minor pullback. But the major ones are more, say here, contract a lot, had a good kick up, another major one through here, and that's led to that leg. The thing is, through here, what we've seen now is that breaking down. So in regards to this longer term trend up, and that's it was 2015, that's about a year and it was 2 years now, nearly. About a year and a half, and we just potentially we're seeing some correction now. It's a hard one actually. So we know correction, what's correction leads to lower prices. So it'll be interesting to see if this can, I just haven't seen that set up. The daily MAs are rolled over. Let's just go back to the weekly MA. The thing is, look where it is it's a bit stretched down here as well. So that recent move down, I don't know if that might have coincided with the election, I'm not sure. Anyway, you can see these little let's go back to the drawing. I'll flip around just to confuse you. Bit of divergence there, a big sell-off, big spike low, and that was a massive washout of these lows. So in essence, if we start seeing this holding up, this level, because it's extended, don't forget, it's nothing to say it can't go through, but just looking at it when it's not anywhere near that low, it's holding a higher level and it's getting extended. The probability of that heading south through 57 is quite low. So if that's the case, you might just get this overall contraction. So it's maybe just building some contraction on that. That's the overall leg height. It's got to contract. Whether it's going to be, and it could pop up. I'd prefer, if I was going to short sell that, I'd prefer to see a setup around, if we just draw that in a different, this type of area, say in here, even a bit higher, on that sort of zone in there, just because it banks off there. So it may just bring, for me, a few buyers stepping in here, pushing it back up, and then sellers are happy to step in a bit lower. You've got these minor lower highs just in play. Only very minor, don't forget. But yeah, if you get it set up in here, at least if it heads back down to, and it is contracting and we're wrong, we could get a little profit up our sleeve anyway. If we're right, you're probably going to be targeting through 57.50. Does that make sense there, Paul? But you're probably in a market that's contracting, which is no reason why you can't short sell, in my opinion. It's just if these highs are holding up, it's just really coming to a point where it's going to break, and you'd expect that to build for another good leg, for another at least test of these highs. Nothing to say it won't roll over there. Let's just, on the short side, let's just talk about, we were talking about Seek. Just to say, I'm liking this less. For anyone that's been looking at this as a short, I'm liking this a little bit less. It's not over yet, and it's it's definitely not over. But just this little sort of price section here, if you can see that, go back to a weekly. So you can see that could potentially, we were looking at it on the weekly basis, but the potential major lower high after the washout of these highs just in here, previous highs, had a good strong layout, consolidated, held some highs, it was quite good, popped up through and then started selling off. All right, then we made a major, tested down sort of that support zone around 12, 11.50, 12. It's worked its way back up, and then we're starting to take out some of these high lows. In essence, that one at 14.50 just in here. Retest it, it's a double top, so working with a double top, a break of that low, and we're starting to see that rolling over on a weekly basis. But it's just this recent price action. Nothing's finished just yet on a short side, but Still looking a bit weak, but if we start taking out these zones up at 15, and that's working off potential higher low just in here. You can see the MAs are starting to get a bit, they're contracting in, so it's going from sellers to buyers, maybe stepping in here. We don't know. We want to see some more sellers, at least this sort of 14, 25, 30 mark hit and taken out, and then you probably see that attacked on the downside. But at the moment, we're keeping an eye on it anyway. Anything else you have a quick look at, guys? Got anything there, Bill? Anything else, Paul? Has anyone, like I said, got queries to a couple of the results that they would just want to see why we got in? I mean, some good ones here, or some bad ones. I'll show you a crappy one actually. RMS, I don't know. It's been annoying me. We took a loss on that one, and it just keeps looking like it's going to set up. I think it's that one. It just takes out the highs. It's just more of a washout and then fails again. So I've seen it. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, this price action here, you can see that it's very similar to this type of price action. It's hard up, it's consolidated really. It hasn't really contracted, it's just consolidated at these highs, and then a tough one to trade. If you took it in here, buy, then you got stopped out again, and then it's gone on with it here. There's a bit of that the same. See how it washes out the highs there? You expect maybe to go in, go and retest and go again, but it's just retested, taking out these little minor lows as well, retested down to this 42, and it keeps popping up. A cent or two through 50 might have brought some traders in, and then straight down below took out the lows. Just this minor low, which there's going to be stops down there anyway. I I sort of I don't really take too much stock in the monthly. I just look at it to see, because there's so much. If you're trading off a daily and you got the monthly charts, even if it's if it's overbought, say we're saying it's overbought here, there's still a lot of, you can still get a good trade out of it on the long side. There's nothing to stop you. There shouldn't be anything to stop you. You just want a bit of a context, more of where it is. So at this stage, if you're looking at the monthly, you go, oh, that's getting sold because the MA is down technically, but it's way down at a key level. Some major support through there. You expect some support to come in. You started seeing that if you're trading it around here, for instance, or even at this zone. So I look more at the weekly. I like the weekly charts to give a good of overall longer term context, and then I go to the daily mainly for the entries off a daily. And the context on a daily basis too, because it's always good to get in. I'd like to see, say for instance, if you're looking at it here and you go, I'll buy it off a daily, but you go, oh, the weekly set the last few weeks have been quite strong. I don't necessarily want to buy it, and that's what I would be looking at the weekly for. But in this zone on a weekly, if we can just zone in on it around here, that type of price action looks great on a weekly basis. It's coming out of this zone. It had a good little few weeks higher. That's contracting. It's bringing in some sellers, people profit taking, putting people back on the sidelines, ready to go in again. You got that low here, you build that high low, and that's what we're looking for. So on a weekly basis, in this zone, looks fantastic. And if you can drill it down, oops, that's not it. I'm going to find it. I think it was in here. Yep, that was it there. So on a daily basis, that looks great. You got your entry, prime entry, just after you took out this high, you've taken out this previous high. It's pulled back in here, prime entry there, and that's led to a good strong leg up. So in essence, I know if that's the case, I've had a leg up here on the weekly. It's had a contraction. We're getting at the other end of contraction on the weekly. Is that going to lead me to another strong leg up? It could do. Don't know. But this price action on the weeklies is looking great. On a daily, you've got my entry on a daily. Let's just see where it goes. So if you happen to enter here, it could just stall, roll over. So be it. But on a, you've got your risk on an offer daily as well. The potential right zone on a weekly for a potential nice strong leg up on a weekly basis. There's going to be a lot of fat in it. Yeah, that's what you got. So that's the way I'd like to use both of them anyway. Was there? Yeah, for sure. What happened there? Exploration resource development drilling update. So we've had some news just the other day there, Nathan. I probably, let's get back to, no, it's still going quite strong. Yeah, look at that. Looks like someone's knew something. If that was a drilling update, maybe it's not that good. Listen, a new mineral resource, gold has been generated for the Stellar and Stellar West deposits. I don't know. Just quickly glance, it doesn't look too bad, those results. There might be something further down. Something wasn't taken well anyway on that sell-off. Or it's headed down there. It's been bought up off that 42.5 zone. Yeah, I'm struggling to like this one either way. Yeah, just quickly put on that. With the alerts, we put the results on the web page. It's in there. You can actually, I'll get it up for you. Get that up there. It's on. Go to TradeSetup.com. You'll be able to get the past results, but we don't really want to put for everyone to view the actual open positions. Were for people that are actually subscribed, because it's like a free trade. I mean, if there's something we jump on and we actually update this, and there's something that's looking good, it's in the right zone, and then we obviously put up the open positions on the open positions. It means that people who are paying are not. It's not worthwhile really. So we're happy, more than happy. We've got the Oh, that's not what I want to do. I'm not claiming a free trial. Let's just go back a tick. So we've got all those results. We've just got to update it. That's all. So minus the actual open position. So all that's the same spreadsheet pretty much. If you can see that. But yeah, what we are going to start doing. I think it's on a Wednesday. Yeah. No, that's what we do. I'll just gonna every, I think Wednesday, just update with the open positions, the current open positions. Send that out. This will be updated also of the results, and then yeah, so you'll be able to see once a week. For subscribers only, it will see what the open positions are, just to match them off, to see how you're going, see what you got. John, did I read that? You take your long view from weekly or monthly. Yeah. Why isn't the 2-year daily adequate for that purpose? It is. It is. So I just read it. It is. It's just for me. I just like looking at the weekly because it's a bit cleaner. You can go to a daily and just drill out a couple of years. Oh, there you go. That's fine too. I just like to see that weekly basis just to give a bit more information, and because there might be, like I said, you might run up into a resistance zone that you won't see on the. It's not the best example. Does that make sense anyway, John? On the weekly, you might see a resistance zone that's not on the chart on the daily, even on the 2-year. It might just be a little bit back further. You know, there's going to have some action or reaction off that leg potentially, especially if the market's starting to get a bit stretched. So you just want to see, I guess, as much data as you can and levels. Just going into like clear skies, great. All right. We'll probably call it a day there, guys. I hope we enjoyed that. If you got any queries on those results, if you just wanted to, there's a couple of things you want to look at or discuss, feel free. You can email us. I'll go through your support at tradesetup.com.au. Or if you ring through, we've got obviously a number there on the Trade Direct website. Ring us through, and either Davin or myself will pick it up and have a bit of a chin wag. But yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. It's great. We'll go tomorrow. We'll be back on, and then that'll be it till after Christmas. Actually, until New Year, because we're gonna be basically closing down for a week anyway. So there won't be any alerts. There's going to be something coming up soon. A bit of an alert coming through to everyone to let everyone know. But yeah, thanks very much for joining us. We'll speak again tomorrow. If you've got any stocks, just get ready, because haven't got any ideas on to present stuff. We're not really talking about stuff, so it's just any stocks that we see could be moving. Anything you want to have a quick look at, doesn't matter what. Could even be currency if you want. If you want to view the currencies, the futures, anything you want, we'll get ready for tomorrow and just chuck it into the chat. And if you've got a view on it, let me know. And then, yeah, we'll discuss it from there. Anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. Great talking again, and we'll speak to you tomorrow. Cheers. Bye.